You know that feeling when you wake up and something's just off? Maybe you didn't sleep well, maybe you had an argument with someone you care about, maybe you're stressed about money, about life, about things that have nothing to do with the markets, and then you sit down at your computer, you open your trading platform and you think, I'll just take a few trades. Maybe making some money will make me feel better. I need you to hear this clearly. That moment, right there, is when you've already lost. Not because the market is against you, not because your strategy stopped working, but because you just made the single most dangerous decision a trader can make. You decided to trade when you're not in the right state of mind. Let me tell you what happens next, because I've watched this exact sequence destroy trader after trader. You place that first trade. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. But here's what's different. Your decision-making isn't coming from your rational brain anymore. It's coming from your emotional state. And emotions in trading are like poison in your bloodstream. They spread slowly at first, then all at once, until every decision you make is contaminated. Think about the last time you traded while you were upset, tired, or stressed. Walk through those trades in your mind right now. Did you follow your rules exactly? Did you take your stops where you planned? Or did you do something different? Something you would never do on a good day? Maybe you held on to a losing position longer, hoping it would turn around and save you from admitting defeat. Maybe you took a bigger position because you felt like you needed a win, like you deserved something good to happen today. Maybe you jumped into a trade without waiting for your setup because sitting still with your thoughts felt unbearable. You know I'm right. You've been there. You remember exactly how it felt. Here's what the research tells us. When you're in a negative emotional state, your brain literally cannot process risk the same way it does when you're calm. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational decision-making, gets suppressed. Meanwhile, the amygdala, your emotional center, takes over. This survival mechanism becomes your executioner in trading. Your brain, in a stressed state, is looking for immediate relief. It wants to feel better right now. So what does it do? It starts making decisions that prioritize short-term emotional relief over long-term success. Taking that trade isn't about following your system anymore. It's about feeling like you're in control when everything else feels chaotic. Holding on to that losing position isn't about waiting for your analysis to play out. It's about avoiding the pain of admitting you were wrong when you already feel like everything in your life is wrong. And here's where it gets really insidious. Most traders don't even realize this is happening. They sit down to trade, they think they're being rational, they think they're following their plan, but their emotional state has already hijacked their decision-making process. They're playing a rigged game against themselves, and they don't even know the rules have changed. Let me paint you a picture that's probably too familiar. You had a fight with your partner before the market opened. You're angry, frustrated, maybe questioning the whole relationship. You sit down to trade because, well, the market's open and you're a trader, right? You take your first trade and it goes against you immediately. On a normal day, you'd take your stop loss, analyze what happened, maybe take a break. But today you're already carrying emotional weight. That loss isn't just a loss anymore. It's confirmation that everything is going wrong. It's another thing that's not working in your life. It's proof that you're failing at this too. And you can feel it happening, can't you? That tightness in your chest, that voice saying, not again, not today. So what do? You take another trade, bigger position this time, because you need to make back that loss. You need to prove you're not failing at this too. You need something, anything, to go right today. Either way, you're not trading your system anymore. You're trading your emotions. You're using the market as therapy. And let me tell you something you already know deep down. The market is the worst therapist you could possibly find. It doesn't care about your feelings. It will take your money with complete indifference. Now multiply this across weeks, months, years. How many times have you traded when you weren't at your best? How many times have you convinced yourself it would be fine? That you could separate your emotions from your trading? And how many times did that actually work? Be honest with yourself. Here's what makes this even harder. Sometimes trading when you feel bad actually works out. You take that revenge trade and it hits. You over-leverage when you're stressed and you make money. And now you've just reinforced the worst possible habit. Your brain remembers that win. It associates emotional trading with success. It tells you, see, trading makes you feel better. So the next time you feel bad, your brain whispers, trading will help. And the cycle continues, getting deeper and more destructive, until one day you blow up your account and you can't even remember exactly how it happened. But the market wasn't against you. You were against yourself the entire time. Studies on trader performance show that emotional state is one of the strongest predictors of trading outcomes. Traders who report feeling stressed, anxious, or upset before trading sessions consistently underperform their own averages. We're talking about the difference between a profitable trader and a losing trader, all determined by what's happening in their head before they even look at a chart. And here's the question that keeps you up at night. If you can't stop yourself from trading when you feel bad, are you even trading? Or are you just feeding an addiction? Because that's what it becomes, isn't it? Trading stops being about executing a strategy and starts being about chasing a feeling. You're not looking at setups anymore. You're looking for relief, for validation, for control in a life that feels out of control. You felt this, haven't you? That compulsion to open your platform even when you know you shouldn't. That inability to walk away even after a losing streak. That voice that says, just one more trade, when you absolutely know, that one more trade is the last thing you should take right now. So what's the solution? The solution is brutally simple. You must have hard rules about when you can and cannot trade. Not guidelines, not suggestions, hard rules. If you slept less than 6 hours, you don't trade. If you had a significant argument, you don't trade. If you're feeling anxious about money, you don't trade. If you woke up and something feels off, you don't trade. And I know exactly what you're thinking, but what if I miss a great trade? Here's the truth. You will miss trades. You will miss great trades. That's part of trading. But you know what's worse? Taking 10 bad trades because you weren't in the right state of mind. Missing opportunity costs you potential profit. Trading when you're compromised costs you real money that you've already lost and can see in your account history. This is where most traders fail. They know this information. They nod along. They agree that emotional trading is bad. But then Monday morning comes, they feel terrible, and they trade anyway. Because knowing something and doing something are separated by the hardest gap in trading: discipline. And here's the reality that changed everything for us. This is exactly why we're building a trading bot with machine learning. Not because automation is magic or guarantees profits, but because a bot doesn't wake up feeling terrible. It doesn't have arguments. It doesn't feel stressed about money or tired from lack of sleep. It doesn't know what fear or greed feel like. It doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. It executes the strategy every single time with perfect emotional neutrality. Think about that. Every single psychological problem we just talked about, every pattern that's cost you money, every emotional trap you've fallen into, a properly built trading bot simply doesn't experience any of it. It doesn't need to remember not to revenge trade because it doesn't feel the need for revenge. It doesn't need discipline to follow rules because it's incapable of breaking them. It doesn't need to check if it's in the right headspace because it doesn't have a headspace. This isn't about replacing good traders. It's about eliminating the single biggest obstacle to trading success: human psychology. You can have the best strategy in the world. You can know exactly what you should do. But if you're human, you're going to have days where you're compromised. And on those days, your edge disappears completely. But for now, if you're still trading manually, create a pre-trading checklist. Write down the conditions that must be met before you're allowed to trade. Make it simple, clear, and non-negotiable. Every single day before you trade, go through that checklist. And if you don't meet those conditions, close your platform and walk away. The market will always be here tomorrow, but your capital won't be if you keep trading like this. So the next time you wake up and something feels off, remember this: the bravest thing you can do isn't taking a big position. It's closing your platform when you know you're not at your best. Or you eliminate the problem entirely by letting a system trade for you that never has bad days, never feels emotional, and never breaks its own rules.